Guys, this is AM Ghana, and you're welcome to another beautiful edition. It is a Monday. It is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful way to begin your day. Spending time with us here on AM Ghana, there's certainly no place to be. I'm very grateful that you could be anywhere, but you decided to be here with us. We are sincerely grateful. My name is Reginald Addy, and I'm here together with Oba. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you too? Richard, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Yes, and your journey from home to work, how was it?
Well, I can say that my journey from home to work was very okay. Only for, a few, recalcitrant persons that I spotted, people not wanting to adhere to the social distancing thing as an issue. But I think that in a country where we frequent the churches and, the market centers, people have to attend to their daily economic activities. I think we can do away, we at least protect ourselves by ensuring that we have our face mask on, amongst others. Over the weekend, there was a directive that came out from some, health personnel that are saying that the face mask could be dangerous. And so after every 10 minutes, you should take them out and breathe some fresh air. That is because, yes, you emit carbon dioxide when you breathe out. When you speak, also, you emit carbon dioxide. And, the face mask sort of makes it difficult for the air to be filtered before you take in some oxygen, which you're supposed to take in. And so it's like you're breathing out CO2 and taking in CO2, which may not necessarily be very advantageous to us. We'll try and look into that and see if there is any truth into it. As far as I know, carbon dioxide is not okay for to be taken in. Exactly. Apart from that, I think that the weekend was great. Friday was May Day, and we celebrated in a very nice way. We saw, our colleagues do what we do over here, Mary Corte and our producer Isaac Morte, amongst others. Mary was fumbling a bit, but I think that she did a very good work.
I'll tell you what she said after the show, but with regards to the face mask and which one we are wearing, the question here is, are we wearing the right ones? Because at the end of the day, FDA and then some health professionals have said that if we are using the right ones, you're not going to retard us from breathing properly. Exactly. They should help us breathe in fresh air and then also be able to protect ourselves at the same time. And last Friday was May Day, and we had our colleagues here. Sometimes they're saying that if you sit back and you are not in the shoes of someone and the person is doing something, you are quick to judge, you are quick to give some comments and criticize. If you find yourself in those shoes, you realize that the heat is even different from what you see from afar. Last Friday when they were done with the show, she said that, Mary mentioned that, hey, it's very easy. It's not easy. Like, you could see how she didn't think that she would get to that point. Yeah. And this shows that we should appreciate everybody and anything anyone lays their hands on. And yourself, if you find yourself doing anything with your hands, please believe in yourself. Have that self-esteem. Be egoistic about it.
That's right.
Be confident and then do it with all your might and make sure you are yielding results. At the end of the day, you cannot do what someone else is doing perfectly. You are your only version and you can only do it the way you want to do it. This is AM Ghana Show, proudly sponsored by Borges Olive Oil, the best always. Mega purified drinking water. You're the only one in my eye. And in these times of COVID-19, we are being advised the bad things we preach about, we are still doing them. We are being advised to taking a lot of water, and the only water you can get on the market is Migo purified drinking water, Migo Akonakono. Blue City ties and accessories for Reginald's beautiful flying tie, bow ties, and then also they have some nose and face masks, also face shields that you can contact them and then purchase yours. They do in bulk and then they do individual purchases as well. And also Yaxing Herbal Mission. You're watching us live on Facebook on Adoatv Ghana and on YouTube, Adoatv GH. We'll come your way with the newspaper headlines and also come with the newspaper review segment. We have some interviews also rolling out for you. Now, there have been issues seeing the president in the State of the Nation address and then also in his daily activities and visits in the country and then outside the country. They've also seen him wearing diverse cloth in his address to the nation concerning COVID-19. Well, people have raised a lot of concerns about what the fabric means. In entertainment, they've gone to the market, our entertainers have gone to the market, and artisans who deal with these artifacts also to ask them what these cloths means. Do we have them still in this system? In 2020, do we still have these cloths? We'll be having an interview with someone who interprets the clothes to us, who will tell us what they mean, why the name, and then what it stands for. And if you wear it, does it have any impact on you? We'll do that for you. My name is once again Anastasia Badu, and we're going on a quick break. When we come back, we'll do with the news headlines.
Borges extra virgin olive oil, best for salad dressing. A little of Borges classic olive oil will make delicious meals. Borges with garlic, excellent for your grills. Make your meals healthy with Borges.
I maintain a healthy life with Borges olive oil.
Borges olive oil, the very best always.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Gatlin got away brilliantly and he's ahead of the field at the moment and Bolt going very near. Comes Usain Bolt! And the Blazers win the series!
Join me, Samuel Kusi Apia, every Monday at 8 p.m. on Adoatv as I bring you good things from the world of sports.
John, what's in you? Wow, Eddie, what boy, Juma. I check a roofing now. Oh, you fell one casa from Asatek. Oh, now Simon, roofing is a baby bray, nice. Why the catch you? Asatek roofing sheet, dear, and your nice keke with the bodan swa a chee and rinache. They want to call us a hood of a fair bray. No free roofing sheet, no dear. Who hear that will be out? Now, so the bodan swa a zero supampe. What means which room send your open roofing sheet? We try the summer on pepe. Mama po Asatek money there. One of my technical advice na estimate free or professional installers and so on your on-site installation. Oh yes, quality and with that feminine. Asatek 5 days pay now can order. Now a year after sales service proper being so. Cheshe Asatek Watema Community 2 Meridian Road at Bangkok Board Warehouse Western Region. So Asatek Watakrade Anaji Yeni Princeland Hotel and edition and a Volta region Yawo Akachi South District Assembly Kwainosua.
And if you're in the right relationship, or if you're feeling it's the right way, it's a very beautiful thing that can happen to you. Let us show love in these hard times. People need us showing love to them. We are not just to show love to our loved ones and to our family members, but any other person who needs that help. In extending help, it could be that you're showing the person some love. People need it. People do not have food. People do not have clothes. People need money. Please extend that help. And the song is as simple as it. Be by someone that you can empower. In these times where people are struggling to even make a living, if the person is looking out for you, if the person is looking up to you, for you to do something or to show love, it is the right time to do it. We shouldn't wait till they are dead before we show our love. Let's do that right now when they live.
All right, and indeed, well, you couldn't say it any better than this thing that justice has been done to the word. It's all about love, and as we stand, the confirmed cases are at 2,169, recoveries at 229. That is 229 recoveries and 18 deaths so far as we stand today, 4th May 2020. And yeah, yesterday the world observed World Press Freedom Day. What does this mean to us as journalists, as press members or persons of the press? Indeed, information is very, very important to each and every living being. And it is just for the love of what we do that we find ourselves here doing what we have to do and giving you the information that you need. And so in these trying times, we promise to stand by you regardless the situation. It is difficult, but the love we have for you would keep us on our toes and keep us going. We'll speak about the World Press Freedom Day and what it means for journalists and for press members and for the entire world. We'll speak on that. And today is also the World Firefighters Day. We'll speak on that as well, World Firefighters Day. And so if you are a firefighter out there, we're saying a very good morning to you. From the beginning of this year right up until now, Ghana has recorded several fire outbreaks, but thanks to the firefighters, we're talking about the fire service persons who have done their best to curb or to control those fires that have broken out so far in the country. So these are the basic things we'll be speaking about. We're also having an interview into the meanings of the fabrics. You know, in Africa, we don't just wear our fabrics. Each fabric means something. I remember my grandma's fabric, which had a picture of a man trying to draw out, I think, a deer from a river, leaving a human being that was drowning. The moral of the picture is that Sanipa to insioma Baleko say abua to insioma ye abua no take the animal out. Perhaps the deer could serve you some gain. Human beings. What should this be the situation, Anastasia?
No, it shouldn't. And sometimes, like you rightly mentioned, sometimes there are morals to the kind of pictures and we find in these
especially
fabrics.
on the fabrics, yeah.
Yes, and we see a lot of symbols rather than in pictorial form.
Exactly.
Yes, and you rolling back to early 19th, that's when we have those pictures. So you see that the cloth could be bare, but there could just be a big picture with, let's say, two human beings depicting something or meaning something. Now we came up with the symbols, and then every symbol in a fabric found actually means something. Sometimes I wonder what really came about or how did they even come about the design for them to tell that this is what it means. And our grandmothers and our mothers do well so much that if they find a fabric with you or they see it, they're able to mention it spot on. They spot it anywhere and they tell you where. And some people even go ahead and tell you that,
Exactly.
Sometimes I ask myself, how is that going to affect me in any way? If I do not believe in them, it means it shouldn't have any effect on me.
Exactly.
But maybe they also have their own mindset or their own notion as to how these things work. And like they say, if you wish for evil, of course, these things will come. They are also about.
Exactly.
Maybe if you find yourself in that situation, that is when you. But if the person doesn't even know it, how is the person going to react, or how is it going to affect the person in any way? And now a lot of fabrics and different designs have evolved with no names, and people actually are running over these ones. Are we leaving these ones off the market?
Right.
Are we just neglecting them to just be there? They also mean something. And if we are also looking at it, we can look at the quality from those times to these times. A lot of things have changed, and the entertainment industry is a very interesting one that we are experiencing now. And we'll do that in the course of AM Ghana Show, where we'll have the meanings of all these and how they even come about in the first place.
All right. Interestingly, we've diversified as to how we use local print fabrics. Now we have flying ties in our local prints. And look at my face mask, for instance. Is it face mask or nose mask? People are having arguments on that one. Anyway, it covers, for me, I think it covers more than just the nose. And so I think it's a face mask because it covers the nose and the mouth. We can't say nose and nose and mouth mask. So I call it face mask because two components of the face. We have three components of the face, actually, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. So I can't just say nose mask. That is just for me. That is how I explain my reason for calling it a face mask. How do you call it? Well, maybe when we open the phone, as you can tell us. But interestingly, yes, this is how we use our fabrics. We'll speak into it. But before we go on to anything else, and without further ado, let's go straight into the newspapers. And I'll begin with the Daily Graphic, which is, to my disappointment, not as hefty as it should be on a Monday, you know, or is it because of the price? Anyway, COVID-19 has changed a lot of things, and the Daily Graphic, the truth and accuracy every day, says that travelers and operators welcome resumption of domestic flights. Now, this is in line to the reopening of the Kotoka International Airport to flights since COVID-19 and since the president put hold on air transport. Information Ministry and Mahama Lord Media for COVID-19 role. As I said, we'll speak about World Press Freedom Day and what it means for us as press persons or as journalists. And indeed, the Ministry of Information yesterday issued out a letter which in the beginning came out with a mistake in the date. Yes, it reported to be 2019. Later on, it was corrected. Kudos to you, the Ministry of Information, for that correction. But please, next time, when you are using templates, we know that's how it is. It happens. But next time, please try and read through. Anyways, the biggest headline here says that managing COVID-19 patients, Exim Bank funds Tobinco to produce drugs. So there is a $5 million facility to be advanced to the Tobinco. There is a caption here about a flashback. It says that Mr. Samuel Amo Tobin, on the right side of the newspaper, as you can see on your screen, CEO of Tobinco Group, conducting Mr. Kojo Boateng Jamefi, who is in the middle, and Nana Dankwa Woso the second, both officials of the Exim Bank, during a visit to the premises of the company recently. And so that is it for the front page of the Daily Graphic. The back page has it that waste companies appeal to government over landfills closure. And another one here, exercise to desilt drains in flood-prone areas begins in Accra. And I am personally wondering, at this point, what do we do about the nature of our gutters in the country? Are they too small to contain the waters when they come down? What have we done as human beings? Because I for one, can tell, Anastasia, when the Accra Malam Highway was constructed, we weren't experiencing floods except the Malam Junction, where we had issues, which was rectified not too long ago, though, you know, there's still some issues over there. But the whole stretch was very, flood-free for a very long time. I don't know how and why we've gotten to a point where no matter what is done to the road, we still experience floods. I'm speaking typically of my junction, Block Factory, close to the West Hills Mall. The gutters were desilted and desilted and desilted. In fact, the gutters were broken. They had to cut, you know, some openings just to be able to take the sand out. And it rained once and the sand is back in the gutters. What happened?
Yeah, Reginald, I think coming up to this point, we are used to constructing very smaller gutters or drains, if I would say. Because growing up, if you see that they are constructing any gutter, you see that it's very small. It's something that we could even walk on and be playing on. We jump over it and all that. Now, human activities have increased. People have settled.
Population has also increased.
Yes, at these places. And so the kind of things people are doing is that the drains are too...
cannot serve.
Yes, they are too small to be serving all these things. People are dumping their refuse in drains. People are also pouring sand or any other thing there. And so you realize that even when the rain washes it away, the sand is still left in the drain. But like you said, if it's been collected, the sand in the drains have been collected, and then some openings have been made by these drains, it should be able to accommodate what was coming. But maybe at a point where it was supposed to gush out, people have also built on waterways, and so it's not able to go through where it's supposed to go through. And water, as it is, you cannot stop it if it's coming with force. And so I think it's a hard time we actually reconstruct some of our drains, open them up a bit. And
some of our bridges as well. I mean, in those floating bridges, sometimes, you know, we have to consider the passage of the, so that it took the region away. Anyways.
Right. Well, I went from the Daily Graphic to the Ghanaian Times, the most authoritative newspaper. It says, wearing a mask, do's. Okay, so what the Ghanaian Times does is that it brings you day in, day out. So every other day it gives you the do's and then the don'ts of wearing a mask. And it's right here at the front page, wearing a mask, the do's. Cover nose and mouth, like Reginald said, and like I have rightly done. And also pull your hair back. Do not drop your hair. If you have it, like I've held mine, you shouldn't drop your hair if you're wearing a mask. And also remove by grabbing from the back. So those who use the tie, the ones that had the 2 ties, that you have to tie one on your ear and then tie one under the ear, you should do it by pulling it from the back. You shouldn't remove it from the front. One thing they're saying is that we shouldn't be touching the front part of our face mask. It isn't the best thing to do. On page 13 of the newspaper, provide stimulus packages for businesses, households. TUC urges government. And also page 12 says, getting ready for the rains. We must regularly desilt our drains. Atachia councils as dredge masters, Zoom lying, others desilt drains in communities. The concern about this story is that if we are to desilt our drains regularly, this is the case where people are dumping refuse in these drains and gutters. If we are taking them out, where are they going to take them to? We've seen a lot of vehicles or cars or aboboyas carrying refuse, and they've gone to park them at the Corleana. They are just there.
They're just there.
Others have also parked at different places where they think they're to dump some refuse there, and they are still there. If they are to collect these or desilt the drains, where are they putting? People are fond of desilting and leaving it at the mouth of the street.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets dried. The wind blows it back into, and then it even grows. I don't know if I know how
the sound grows. It multiplies.
I don't know what happens to it, but it's there. People as if nobody cares about it. But we should have that habit of when desilting, when we are done doing it, let's collect whatever we've taken out of the drains.
It just goes on to add meaning to the popular saying, which says that things done by house are never done well.
Yes.
And so if you desilt a gutter, why do you leave it right at the bottom? Well, in fact,
why did you do it in the first place?
Why did you do it in the first place? And how did the sand get into the gutter in the first place? It got into the gutter due to sand that are close by. And so you pick them out, or you collect them out and you leave them at the mouth of the gutter because you want them to go back inside again. Well done.
Well, the big one here on page 12. Local production of COVID-19 treatment drugs. Exim Bank to Binko strike $5 million deal. And for large-scale manufacture of hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin. Okay, so this has to do with the local production of COVID-19 treatment drug, and Tobinco and Exim Bank strike $5 million deal for large-scale manufacture of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. And Mr. Loris Ejin Sam, CEO of Exim Bank, we have a picture here on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. At the back page of the Ghanaian Times, so this is the front page of the Ghanaian Times. The back page of it says, Ho MP commends GJA Volta Regional Branch in COVID-19 fight. FDA seizes 1,285 unregistered products in Central Region. The Central Regional Office of the Food and Drugs Authority has seized more than 1,285 unregistered assorted products in some parts of the region. The unregistered products were seized from herbal facilities, lorry stations, information centers, and markets in Abra, Asebu, Kwaman Kese, Asin South, Asin Central, Gomoa West, Gomoa Central, and Gomoa West again. Okay, maybe Gomoa East. And the markets were Agona Swedro, Mankesim, Agona West, and Asin Fosu markets. Mr. John Odaitete, the regional head of the authority, in an interview with the Ghanaian Times, said, yes, in the Ghanaian Times, the Ghana News Agency, after the exercise, said the items were seized after dawn swoops between Monday, April 27 to Thursday, 29. And he explained that the products were not registered by the FDA and were not supposed to be sold in the markets. And that is a good one. And so grab a copy of the Ghanaian Times, read further into these stories, and then some more you find in the paper.
Now let's move away from that and go straight into the new crusading guide. It says that Atiwa forest mining lists as high risk post COVID-19 venture. Sorry, it's on page 10 of the new crusading guide. Choosing parliamentary candidates dangerous. Dr. Amwako Tufo advises the NEC, National Executive Committee. Steel manufacturers increase prices despite 50% cut on electricity. And we have a picture of the Minister of Trade and Industry, Honorable Alan Chiramanting. I think he should speak to this one. I think that it is prudent that some companies see to a reduction of prices, because obviously one main utility in production has been reduced by 50%. And I think that for companies like steel companies, they should enjoy more, for which the citizens or patronizers should also enjoy even better. Exim Bank supports Tobinco and agrees to advance $5 million to produce corona medicine. So court elsewhere, court adjourns Erasmus Kwao versus GOC case for mentioning again on June 1st. A big story here. Sabotage at Kotoka International Airport as GACL MD diverse disinfection contract. The story is on pages 3 and 10 of the new crusading guide. Back page has some, well, this advertisements. Front page of the back page, as I usually put it, has some sports, call to sports crusade. It says that my salary at King Faisal was 30 Ghana cedis, says Kadat Sarim. Salary 30 Ghana cedis, says Sadat Karim at King Faisal. Then Kofi told me I had an automatic spot in the Black Stars, says Abdul Razak. And last but not the least, Fatawu Dauda lucky to represent Ghana at the FIFA World Cup. And that makes it full new crusading guide.
And straight to some business information from the BNFT for today, Monday, May 4, 2020. It says city's strength in first 2 months discourages local dollar accounts. And this is on page 3. So there's a picture you can see on the front page of the BNFT foreign deposits growth rate and giving us the graph over there. Also, with SME experience, SNLs must also disburse stimulus package. GASALC, GHASALC, and it says the Ghana Association of Savings and Loans Companies has appealed for governments to rope its members into disbursement of the 600 million Ghana cedi stimulus package meant for small and medium scale enterprises. We are experts in doing business with the SMEs in Ghana. It will therefore be in order for government to involve the savings and loan companies in disbursement of the stimulus package to support SMEs. And it continues on page 2 of the BNFT. Also on energy, it says VRA cuts net losses by 91%. Losers drop from 1.2 billion Ghana cedis to 100 million Ghana cedis. Also looks to brighter future, and it says the Volta River Authority has reported a significant improvement in net losses year on year from about 1.2 billion Ghana cedis to 100 million Ghana cedis at the end of 2019, representing a 91.6% reduction. The reduction is attributed to strategic actions such as the implementation of a financial recovery plan rolled out in 2018, a cut in administrative expenses, and an aggressive export drive, among others. Its Chief Executive Officer, Emmanuel Dakwa, said in a statement to mark the power generation and distribution firm's 59th anniversary. And also on roads, contracts remain intact, but funding to delay. Joseph Osei Owusu also has more on this, and it's at the back page. The story is at the back page of the BNFT. Stop COVID-19 stigmatization. Families of affected persons need social support. Stop stigmatization. Depression kills.
Yes. Sorry to cut you in, but you know, as part of the VGA, the World Press Freedom Day that was observed yesterday, we want to speak to Mr. Kofi Yeboah, who is the General Secretary for the Ghana Journalists Association. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, senior colleague. How are you doing as well?
I'm doing well too.
Right. Yesterday, the world observed World Press Freedom Day under the theme journalism without fear and favor. What does this mean for Ghana, especially when it comes to press freedom?
Okay, I thank you very much, and may I use the opportunity to say hi to your listeners. It is true the occasion fell yesterday, but to give you a little update, this morning the DJ is organizing a forum at the Ghana International Press Center in Accra to commemorate the occasion. So we are going to have personalities like the Honorable Minister of Information, Kojo Ponkroma, the Chairman of the NMC, UNESCO reps, and other people come to share a few thoughts with us on press freedom. As you rightly mentioned, the theme for this year's Press Freedom Day is journalism without fear or favor. And that is very important in the sense that if you look at one of the objectives for celebrating the occasion, it is to defend attacks on press freedom and also to remember our friends and colleagues who had fallen over the years in the line of duty. And so sometimes when such things happen, they have a tendency to put fear in us. So the theme is a call on us or an encouragement to us not to be afraid in spite of the many deaths we are having. And according to the UN, over the past 12 years, there have been more than 1,000 journalists who have been killed around the world. But these things must not deter us from discharging our duty as watchdog of society, and also as mandated by the 1992 Constitution.
All right. Now, as mandated by the 1992 Constitution, Section 162, subsection 1 says that freedom and independence of the media are hereby guaranteed, and all other subsections that follows goes on to ensure specific areas and other things that should be considered far as press freedom is concerned. But, sir, let me ask you, journalism without fear and favor is a thing. We keep saying that no matter what the threat may be, we shouldn't be threatened as journalists. Yet, journalists go out there and they are brutalized. Journalists go out there and they are killed because they just wanted to carry out their duties. Now, are we supposed to continue holding forums in these times other than ensuring what should be done to protect journalists in Ghana specifically?
Okay, it's a very good question. The forums and every other activity or action are very important. You know, I think to a very large extent, it is a lack of appreciation of the rule of law. That is why we tend to experience these things. I'll give you an example. If a journalist writes something or says something that turns out to be untrue, or that somebody thinks harms his or her reputation, there are laid down procedures that the person, civil procedures that the person can take. For example, you can have a recourse to Article 162 Clause 6 of the Constitution, which guarantees you the right to a rejoinder.
Exactly.
Okay, so a rejoinder simply means come and also tell us your side of the story.
More of a reply.
Quite apart from that, you can also take the matter to the NMC, and the NMC will review the case and do the appropriate thing. If you don't like these two avenues, you may also go to court and sue for a defamation. Okay, so these are well laid down, and if you are all going to follow this, nobody will come assaulting you. Okay, but I think it is a lack of appreciation of the rule of law. So, in my view, one of the ways to address the problem is also to sensitize people, educate people on the need to appreciate the rule of law. On our part, at the Ghana Journalists Association, what we also do is that in recent times, when such attacks happen, we have had to go to court because we think it is not just enough to be talking and issuing press statements and so on and so forth. So all these are avenues. Even now, as we speak, we are trying to engage stakeholders, especially the security operatives, to try and have a discussion. And collectively, I think this will help to reduce the space of attacks on us.
Very well. Now, apart from less appreciation or non-appreciation for the rule of law as far as journalism is concerned, do you think that Ghanaians have come to appreciate journalism or journalists so far as information to the public is concerned?
I don't think so. I think to a very large extent, people appreciate the work we do, but you know, in every society, you have a few people who may be deviant to the rule of law. So it is not strange that we have such incidents. But I think the very largest, you know, the thing about the work we do is that even if you tell the truth and it is unpalatable, somebody may still be aggrieved. Okay, so it is not about telling a lie or trying to defame somebody or harm the reputation of somebody. Even when you tell the truth, insofar as that truth you are telling is not palatable to somebody, the person may be aggrieved. Okay, so you must not think for a moment that you are sitting in the studio, you are doing a fantastic job, you are doing a good job. Whatever you are doing today, somebody may be aggrieved, and you may not know the reaction of that person against you. That is the nature of our job. But the import of the theme for this year's World Press Freedom Day is that in spite of all the threats, in spite of all the attacks, we should not be afraid, but we should continue to do the work that we are doing. Because if we don't do our job, it may pose a greater threat, not to us as individuals, but to the nation as a whole.
Indeed.
So the attacks we are facing are far less in terms of harming us as a nation than if we fail to do our jobs.
Right. Mr. Yeboah, in the wake of COVID-19, attention was given to the front line, the health workers, the frontliners who are dealing directly with COVID-19. But within these times were journalists, press people who were also putting their lives on the line, going to work. But it is quite unfortunate that until yesterday, recognition was not given so much to the press. What do you have to say about this? Is the GJA going to petition the government to give that recognition to the journalists or the press in Ghana?
I like an explanation given by the president of the GJA to this same question. And he says that the media, we don't need a definition. We don't need somebody to come and tell us we are frontline operators or not. By the nature of the work we do, we are. Okay, but have we also asked ourselves the definition of frontline operatives? Who is a frontline worker? We need to operationally define it. I have a friend who is a security expert, and he is saying that there are security people at the hospital. They are the first port of call when people are coming to the facility. Are you also saying they are not frontline operatives? So once we haven't defined who a frontline worker is, it becomes a loose term. Okay, but we believe that the very nature of our job makes us frontline operators. And we had also observed did the same thing, and we had taken the issue up with the Minister of Information. And if you will recall, in the last two addresses of the president, he had given recognition to the media. Even in the last address, when he was recognizing the key actors in the fight, he mentioned the media first. So I think, and when the DJ executive stayed a courtesy call him last week, okay, I was not there, but I'm told he apologized for the omission. Okay, so I think it is enough. If people will not give us recognition, I don't think we need it anyway, because the job we do for the people. If you read Article 162 clause 4, clause 5, sorry, which is the watchdog role mandated by the Constitution. It says all agencies of the mass media shall at all times be free to uphold the
principles,
provisions, and objectives of this Constitution, and to uphold the responsibility and accountability to the people of Ghana. So our job, our responsibility is towards the people of Ghana. So if an individual or an institution will not recognize the work we do, we are doing it for the people anyway.
All right. Now, the theme, I'm basing on the theme again, journalism without fear and favor. Now, the favor aspect of it, they say that to whom freedom is given, responsibility is expected. Now, some journalists or press persons tend to favor the side of the story from which they may be reporting, or a side which they may stand on. What do you have to say to journalists who tend to throw light on themselves instead of the essence of reporting?
Yeah, it's a very good point you make. That has been a concern to me personally and to us at the GDA. You know, our job we do is like holding a two-edged sword. Your sword must cut either side. So if one side of your sword is blunt, said that it will not cut, and only one side is sharp, then you are not discharging your job well. You must tell it as it is. If it is white, it is white. If it is black, it is black. There's nothing like gray. Okay, so we need to have this appreciation. And sometimes some of our members or some of our media institutions lack this appreciation. Okay, we need to be all the ethical principles, balance, fairness, objectivity. If we are following them, then you should not, under any circumstances, project one side of the story. So it is something I think we need to work at. I must admit, it is a blot in the work we do, and we must strive to work at it to improve in that area.
Very well. Before you go, Mr. Yeboah, what do you aim to achieve at the end of the forum that is to be held today?
Well, it is to reassure ourselves that we have a job to do, and that we don't need to be afraid of the job we are doing, and we also have a responsibility to be fair in everything we do. So journalism without fear or favor simply means we should not be afraid of anything, and then we should be fair and we should be objective in the work we do.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yeboah, for speaking to you, and see you at the center today.
We are most welcome, sir.
All right. And so that was the General Secretary for the Ghana Journalists Association, Mr. Yeboah. He shared his views about the World Press Freedom Day, which was observed yesterday. Matter of fact, the Ghana Journalists Association is observing the day today by holding a conference where the Minister of Information, Honorable Kojo Opon Nkrumah, person I'm vouching for as Vice President of the country, he'll be there. He'll be there as well. And so we urge all journalists and all press persons to be there and witness the forum. We will learn a lot from that one. A lot has been said by General Secretary.
Exactly, Reginald. It's hard time the NMC outlines the role of the media and then what they are expecting them to do, because it is their role to also isolate government's intervention in some reportages that are being done by media houses. And also looking at how some media houses carry out their dissemination of information, it shouldn't be at the backlog of some a political affiliation or the fact that someone wants to project propaganda or someone wants to promote that. The media shouldn't be used for that. It is not for that. We are the mouthpiece of the people, and between the government and the people, we are carrying information from and to
both sides.
Yes, both sides. So if we are the speaking, or we are the tool for these people, we should find ourselves doing the right thing. And with the theme, journalism without fear or favor, people are scared of losing their lives now because the red flag is there. Okay. If care is not taken, you lose your life. And like you said, we are looking forward to some more information concerning this theme and the World Press Day. And still on the BNFT, it says, stop COVID-19 stigmatization. Families of affected persons need social support. Stop stigmatization. Depression kills. Stop COVID-19 stigmatization. Stop name calling. Spread concern and love. Spread concern and love. International Oil and Fats Limited rebrands as Fuji Oil Ghana. And page 2 of the BNFT has more on this. At the back page of the BNFT, so this is the front page of the BNFT, and Vivo Energy launches COVID-19 retailer sustainability program. Also, contracts remain intact, but funding to delay. Joseph Osei Owusu, and it says the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament and MP for Asante Bekwai, Joseph Osei Owusu, has indicated that all roads that have been earmarked for construction this year are intact and will be delivered, but funding to some contractors may delay. According to the Deputy Speaker, government is going to face a huge funding challenge in paying the contractors due to revenue shortfall from oil receipts and other revenue sources, as COVID-19 has eroded revenues for all projections made in the 2020 budget. A reason government wants to lower the cap on the Stabilization Fund and access the Heritage Fund, among others, to beef up revenue. And we have more on the Vivo Energy launches COVID-19 retailer sustainability program. So if you grab a copy of the BNFT at any newsstand, you'll be able to read further into these stories.
All right, now let's move on to the Daily Statesman. And it says that DS gets results development of Oda Big Tree to commence. The story is on page 3 of the Daily Statesman. Mahama built 808 chips compounds, not 3,000. NPP exposes more NDC lies. Now the big story here. Join me to create a progressive nation, President tells Ghanaian workers. And the story is on page 2 of the Daily Statesman. The back page has sports, says Dimitar Berbatov lazy. No, I was smart, says ex-Tottenham and Manchester United striker. Elsewhere, Salisu will face a difficult task in convincing Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid. And that's it for Daily Statesman.
And so moving to the True Independent, Nkondo Wesizwe, and it says 51 Okada riders arrested for flouting social distancing protocol. Also, Adjoa Safo supports orphanages in Dom Kwabinya. And on page 7, Exim partners Tobinco to produce COVID-19 drugs. So there's a picture of the three. We have Apiaje Nana Apiaje Dankoso, Mr. Kwejo Boateng Jemfi, and Nana Amu Tobing. And going to page 7 to read further into the story. It begins as Exim Bank Ghana is set to collaborate with Entrance Pharmaceuticals and Research Center, a member of the Tobinco Group of Companies, to produce hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin locally to treat COVID-19 patients. COVID-19 patients treated with hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin recover quickly, but the drug is not produced locally on a large scale. Furthermore, the value of the drugs has shot up on the international market due to its potency in the treatment of coronavirus disease. Exim Bank is highly impressed with the Tobinco Group's utilization of a previous grant facility, extended the group, and therefore is ready to advance a new $5 million facility to help tackle the pandemic in the country. Also, news reaching us is that one of the African countries have gotten a vaccine for Madagascar or something.
Madagascar is one of the island countries.
Island, yes.
Yeah, so this should be.
I've forgotten the name, but there's a country that has a new. It's a local treatment that they have from neem tree leaves or neem leaves.
Oh.
Lime. There's some other things also adding up to it, and I think
no wonder they're selling neem leaves on eBay for $30.
$30. Yes, people are going in for it, but gone are the days where we saw our grandmothers or our parents cooking or boiling water with neem leaves in them, and then using their blankets to cover up, and then inhaling them. By the time they come out, they feel
fresh and energized.
They are healed,
revitalized.
Yes, and it's high time we actually make serious use of our leaves or our trees or the barks of trees in our forests, rather than cutting them and then leaving them to dry up and then burn them. And also, equipping chiefs make U-turn on new Omanhene. See page 8 for details of the story. And a big one here on pages 2 and 3. Police raid money doubling shrine. 3 bodies exhumed. 2 juju men grabbed. Pages 2 and 3 of the Chronicle newspaper has the Criminal Investigations Department headquarters of the Ghana Police Service in a massive operation last week Thursday exhumed a number of decomposed headless bodies from a shrine at Edukojo, Mamidede Junction near Adeso in the Upper West Akim district of the Eastern region. 2 suspects, Christian Lawe Gameli, aka Power One, owner of Power Spiritual and Herbal Center, the shrine. The famous Edukono, aka Scorpion, spiritual trainee at the shrine, are currently in the grips of the police, assisting with the investigation. One of the decomposed bodies has so far been identified as that of 64-year-old Edward Kwate Papafio, whose unceremonious disappearance triggered investigations which led to the discoveries at the shrine last Thursday, April 30, 2020. The operational team, which was under the personal command of the Director General of CID, Commissioner of Police, COP Mr. Isaac Kenyaboa, included deployments from the CID operations, anti-armed robbery unit, homicide unit, crime scene management team, police intelligence unit, and pathology department of the police hospital, backed by the Adeso district and Asamankese commands of the police service. Information gathered by the Chronicle has said that the deceased, Kwate Papafio, who is reportedly a retired military officer, not confirmed though, prior to his disappearance, allegedly told the wife, a priestess, that their lives would soon see total transformation. And pages 2 and 3. And so when you grab a copy of the Chronicle, you can read further into this story. And at the back page of the Chronicle, with sports news, Serie A clubs giving all clear to return to training from today. And De Bruyne ensure of Man City future if European ban is upheld. And also there's an information coming from the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, expression of interest to engage a okay, so you can grab a copy of the Chronicle and then refer. But the quotation for the day, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22. Abstain from every form of evil. Today's message is very short. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22. Abstain from every form of evil. And that sums it for the newspaper.
And that does it for the newspaper headlines. And I wonder why television stations would give way for such. Anyways, you're watching AM Ghana. Now, Adoatv, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, there'll be more on the newspaper review segment. Stay tuned.
Borges extra virgin olive oil, best for salad dressing. A little of Borges classic olive oil will make delicious meals. Borges with garlic, excellent for your grills. Make your meals healthy with Borges.
I maintain a healthy life with Borges olive oil.
Borges olive oil, the very best always.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240-926-564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
John, what feeling you? Wow, Eddie, what boy juma. I check a roofing now. Oh, you fell one casa from Asatek. Oh, na Simon, roofing is a baby bray, nice keke. Why the catch you? Asatek roofing sheet dear, and your nice keke with the bodan swa a chee and renache. They want to call us a hood of a fair bray. No free roofing sheet, no dear. Who hear that will be out? Now, so the bodan swa a year supampe. What means which Roman send your open roofing sheet? We try the summer on pepe. Mama po Asatek money there. One of my technical advice na estimate free. Our professional installers and so on your on-site installation. Ni boss crowd dafon pa. Oh yes, quality ni bo dafamine. Asatek 5 days pay na musa kan order. Na a year after sales service proper binso. Hwehwe Asatek Watema Community 2, Meridian Road, Ebenkoko Board Warehouse, Western Region. So Asatek Watakrade Anaji, Yeni Princeland Hotel and the Shinimu. And a Volta Region, Yawo Akachi South District Assembly Kwino Suwa.
Super na wanya pomuden se wo banu nso a hwe hu ni se eye mega purified mineral water eye nso a yetu ni baby pa asaso ni so se kroje se wonya mega purified mineral water bogu ubu a wo see you manum nso pa mega mineral water de edanso esan say the modern technology so na ye ede na nkabia ni atri mega purified mineral water bacteria na mhen wa bewrem eye very hygienic obia di wadanse mega mineral water neatly packaged for 500 ml bottles mu na wani bosua na wokon donsio wo benya mega purified mineral water to bebia to phone call dodo wa amount tipa junction and afre 05070554009 and 055392108 mega purified mineral water akona kono.
And that's what you're saying. Now, that's same mixture, more in the soup.
Ya brand malaria, near would you be prepared? Ah, hey, that's in mix and near ocean one what you are. No, I'm young, wapas, chicken one. That's in mixture, that's in mixture, that's in mixture. So, and then you grow. what you wanna say no Jackson mixer
Hey malaria and quadia no Jackson mixer now bet yes king they won't any more about Jackson Herbal Mixture only size
one peswa hormono eho etisenye brodo so ho awoten eho so etisenye o memuna nkasa woten no eho so etisen eni insem diko insem bi editie timemufo etipentokwato santene koto aba wo hwe ne mokwan se aka kendifo wo beyi won betumi aboa ama mman no etumi etumpon eso akendifo ebegidwa no etena so a na achese sebia so timemufo to a wotua no wode wasa wonsrem insem diko insem bi editie we intine ho behia se memende biada wo brabo nonkron ewo wudon no so sei ken woni me ebedi ehia ewo Adoatv kasafidie so wo bra ye to nsa afra manyofo a wode semo akotin wona bia hye wonim di ankasa etwetwe nkomo wo bra ye to nsa afam umahye bedwemni no mesini cracker wo honom e betutu na no na achesen sema edika editie no ya toto ho sere ene abasa e wo kasafidi eso me a metine dwemu edigimedi ho chiame edi amede so ene political baby face
Ago, good people of Ghana. Here are some safety measures on prevention of coronavirus. 1. Cover your mouth with tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of tissue into a bin immediately you cough into it and wash your hands with soap and the running water. Avoid shaking hands and use sanitizers as often as you can. Signs and symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing. Should you experience any of these, or for more inquiries, please contact 0558 439 868. That's 0558 439 868. Or call 0509 497 700. That's 0509 497 700.
Remember to always wash your hands with soap and the running water.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and partners.
Gatlin got away brilliantly and he's ahead of the field at the moment and Bolt going very near comes Usain Bolt.
Join me, Samuel Kusi Apia, every Monday at 8 p.m. on Adoatv as I bring you good things from the world of sports.
Borges extra virgin olive oil, best for salad dressing. A little of Borges classic olive oil will make delicious meals. Borges with garlic, excellent for your girls. Make your meals healthy with Borges.
I maintain a healthy life with Borges olive oil.
Borges olive oil, the very best always.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
John, wo fini new. Wow. Ede ye fe, edi wabwe juma. I check roofing na. Oye fe wankasa from Asatec. Oh, na same roofing sheets aba bebre nice keke. Why na catch you? Asatec roofing sheet die. Enye nice keke o. With the board so eche yie. Enwe na che. Na won colors ahodo fe bebre. No mo free roofing sheet no die. Wo hia that bia o. Na so the board so a ejire so pampe. Utumi so tro mo se ne ope roofing sheet no. We twa de sama on pepepe. Mama po Asatec money there. One ma technical advice na estimate free. Our professional installers nso a your on-site installation. Ne bo so kra da fam pa. Oh yes, quality ne bo da fam nyen. Asatec 5 days pay na mo sa kan order. Na wo ye after sales service proper bin so. Hwehwe Asatec Watema Community 2, Meridian Road, Ebenkoko Board Warehouse, Western Region so Asatec Takrade Anaji, Yene Princeland Hotel and the Shinimu. And a Volta Region yawo Akachi South District Assembly Kwino so ha.
Super na wanya pomuden se wo banum nso a hwe hu ni se eye mega purified mineral water eye nso a yetu ni baby pa asaso ni so se kroje se wonya mega purified mineral water bogu ubu a wo see you manum nso pa mega mineral water de edanso esan say the modern technology so na ye ede na nkabia ni atri mega purified mineral water bacteria na mhen wa bewrem eye very hygienic obia di wadanse mega mineral water neatly packaged for 500 ml bottles mu na wani bosua na wokon donsio wo benya mega purified mineral water to bebia to phone call dodo wa Amanfro Tipa Junction and afre 050-7055-409 and 055-392-1088 mega purified mineral water akona kono.
Welcome back from the break and thanks for staying with us. In case you just joined us, this is AM Ghana on Adoatv, and it's time for some newspaper review. We'll talk about issues bordering, as I said earlier, that yesterday we observed the World Press Freedom Day, and today the GJA is organizing a forum with the Ministry of Information. We'll look at the essence of the World Press Freedom Day, as well as other matters that are present in the newspapers. But then also, let's be reminded that today is World Firefighters Day. We may take a brief look into that and see how we are well equipped as a nation in terms of firefighting. News that broke up on Saturday, a very sad one, was the demise of Kumawood actor Bishop Bernard Nyako, and we here at Adoatv wishes to extend our sincerest and our deepest condolences to the family of Bishop Bernard Nyako and to the entire Kumawood fraternity. And then when we mention press or media, we're not only speaking about journalists, but also movie makers, entertainers as well, who have taken to media to entertain people. Bishop Bernard Nyako was a very, very strong Kumawood actor who brought in so much into the Kumawood movie scene. And we here at Adoatv will never forget his role in the Ghana movie industry. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Now, my guest for the newspaper review segment, I'm blessed to have two Maliks. In fact, it doesn't just end there. Their surnames also begins with an A. So on my immediate right is my very own brother, my senior from senior secondary school, and we are not in the same fraternity anyway. I don't belong to any. He's with the New Patriotic Party. He decided to take a side instead of being neutral like me. Anyways, he's representing the NPP, and he's Malik Abe. right there. And on my far right is, and that is on Malik's immediate right, is Malik Adams from the comes on the Adama, sorry. Malik Adama. I only replaced the last A with an S. It's fine. Malik Adama from the camps of the National Democratic Congress, the major opposition party, the biggest opposition party in the country. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to AM Ghana. How are you doing, Malik?
We are doing
There's a confusion, okay. How are you doing, Mr. Avi?
I'm doing great, I'm blessed. And how are you? How is Adoa? I see the station is moving higher and higher as the time goes. So I must say a very good morning to the producers of your show and then the management of Adoatv. You're doing a marvelous job. And may God keep you, blessing you to the higher heights.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Adama.
Yes, my boss.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Let me say good morning to you and good morning to your crew as well as the viewers of Adoatv. Let me say good morning to the former president too, and I would like to congratulate him for the good work that he's doing for Madagascar and also the viewers of Adoatv.
Right. Thank you very much. We're very, very grateful. Now, gentlemen, this is how the rule goes. For every take, it's 5 minutes. Okay. And so how you dispense it is entirely up to you. But when your 5 minutes is up, I cut in for the next person. We're going to have discussions into the World Press Freedom Day, as I indicated earlier. I will speak about other matters in the newspapers as well, as and when time is up. I'll bring the topics that we talk about. I don't want to give anybody head start, and so I'm not going to introduce the newspapers yet. Yesterday was World Press Freedom Day, gentlemen. I believe the two of you communication executives for the respective parties you belong to are very, very private and not alien to the press. I mean, you always communicate and you do it with the media. What do you think that press freedom and means for Ghana entirely and for journalists, Malik Abe?
Okay, let me start by saying a very good morning to my constituency and my parliamentary candidate who happens to be the chairman of the Premix 4 committee, that's Honorable Nilante Bannerman, and then my entire constituency executives, and then the mayor of Accra too, Honorable Ajesoa. Good morning to you. When we are talking of press, of course, there's an unofficial fourth arm of the government in Ghana that we used to establish. Why? Because we believe that any policy or initiations that the government has to do, it has to go through the pressmen. And the pressmen are the people who champion the causes of government, keep the government on the tools for responsibilities and accountabilities. So World Press Freedom Day is one thing that I believe in diverse views of all the political parties. We believe that it's something that we have to channel. And then we in the MPP also believe that when it comes to the contribution to the press freedom in Ghana, no other political party has been able to rival us when it comes to that part of contribution. Because you know that the Right to Information Bill, of course, is something that we have passed, and then we are looking forward to ensure that the environment is also conducive for pressmen to work. I've been reading a lot of attacks on pressmen. We have that of Joy, we have that of TV Africa as well. Yeah. So it's something that I believe that we are growing, and to get to a level in this country that when you are a pressman, your freedom would be as equal as any other political figure, because you are the person who channels these grievances of the people on the ground. So you carry the information out to the people that this and this project is what A and B people promised. So how far or how have they gotten to establishing that promise that they are fulfilling? So press, I believe the press freedom is something that is very dear to the MPP. And of course, we have an honorable minister who actually was a pressman. So we in the MPP believe that it is in the right direction. We are going to support whatever press people are believing in, so far as they adhere to the etiquettes and all the values of a pressman.
Right. Thank you very much for keeping that brief. Ms. Adama, what does this mean to you as a member of the press?
Let me first say thank you for this topic. I think Press Freedom Day is one of the days that we should be celebrating, just because where we came from and where we've reached. We started somewhere far away, and then gradually we've gotten to where we are. But we thought we could have
even move rapidly just because of how we started. You know, somewhere in the 90s, the freedom wasn't as 2000s. And 2000s to it isn't as currently how it is now. You know, the media, that is this television stations, the private ones, and these radio stations, started popping in somewhere later part of 90s. That's where we saw all the TV and radio stations coming in. 2000s too, they came in their numbers. Somewhere 11, 12, and co, they came in. So we thought, well, it is moving forward. But one way or the other, there are some inches which we used to speak about. And we normally discourage those inches that occur. Brutalization, attacks, and others. But some of them are severe. And some of them too, you can't see that it's deliberate. And some of them too, there should be a punishment so that it will not occur again. We were somewhere 23rd, and then we dropped last year to 27th. Today, we've dropped to 30, and we've dropped 7 points. We were the best in Africa. Now we've dropped to Namibia and the other countries, which I think it is not the best. And there are a lot that occurred last 2 years and last year, which I think the appropriate authorities did not do their work well and even didn't try to work on it. Why did we drop? When you read various Afrobarometers, why we even dropped from the 23 to 27 was alluded to 2 issues. The closure of various radio stations, which were linked to the NDC, and then the murder of the investigating journalist, what's the name?
Ahmed Suarez.
You understand? And these 2 issues. And even the murder of these journalists, at least somebody must be prosecuted. Because we heard clear and loud from one honorable member of parliament showing his picture clearly on screen for the whole world to see. And the whole world saw it. What happened? The last time I heard from the security that they went to the honorable and went and even took his statements. Is that how it's supposed to be? The world is watching. Because it was not handled properly. It wasn't handled well. These radio stations, whether you like or not, people listen. People are addicted to those radio stations. The 2 major radio stations of the opposition party, Radio Gold and XYZ. But they were shut down in a ninja style. And then all attempts were made by the owners for them to get their radio station back. It prevails nothing. So all these things add up for us to what? To drop from our positions. You understand? So these are some of the reasons why we dropped from the 23rd to the 30th, which these things could have been prevented. They were unnecessary. Even look at what happened at police headquarters somewhere last year when Joy FM guy was brutalized. Up to today, as we are speaking, the guy has lost. He's not as fit as he was today. He's not. And no one is found culpable. No one has been questioned for what happened to that journalist as we speak today. And it's severe. Though those things have happened before, which we condemn. We've never entertained them. We've condemned them. And as it happens, we condemn. But those that are deliberate, which mitigations can be maybe put before, no, I think we should have done those things so that we move forward.
Right. So, Mr. Adama, thank you very much. Fair 5 minutes, and I think you've spoken and spoken well. Now, let me come to you, Malik. The theme for this year, this year's World Press Freedom Day, is journalism without fear or favor. The fear, we know, is coming from the freedom which has been suppressed for a very long time. Now, our motto in the coat of arms says freedom and justice, which to a greater extent is not fully practiced. I'm saying this because less vulnerable or the poor in society find it difficult accessing justice. In this way, their freedom is suppressed. Now, every citizen should enjoy that benefit of freedom. Why is it that when we mention journalism, the word freedom automatically comes into mind? Although it is enshrined in the Constitution that freedom of the press is guaranteed, we're battling, issues like what he spoke about, journalists being brutalized amongst others. Why do you think we've come to this extent where there is fear associated with journalism?
Freedom actually is one of our basic privileges as enshrined in our 1992 Constitution of every Ghanaian, not just journalists, sorry. But most of the time, from my view, it may be on individual and etiquette and moral grounds. Because if you're reading most of the storylines that we come across, that has to do with violence or that has to do with murder in quotes, you kind of notice that sometimes we need, as a people, we need to channel for justice to be served for the right people. For instance, he made mention of most of the cases that has gone by. Yes, some some people have been pleaded for, yes, and then they have been granted. But these things should go to court and face the full route of the court so that it serves as a deterrent for most of the people who want to engage in this media violence. And then I would also want to play with most of the journalists. Sometimes yes, it's your work and it's your field. But most of the time in this political era and then as humanitarian as we are, some of the things that you publish mostly has to do with tarnishing images of people. And that is where the freedom word is curtailed. Why? Because
are you saying that journalists sometimes report to tarnish images of people?
Exactly.
How do journalists do that?
There are a lot of cases of that sort. We've even had a case where their general secretary had to sue somebody, and he said that when he sues the person and he gets the money, quote unquote, he was going to write on the wall, forgive my language. That was what he said. Because of what he believed has been reported about him, which is false. So most of
what did that case get to?
That's what I'm just trying to use it as an example of publications that has gone on.
Sometimes when we make such assumptions that journalists try to tarnish, yes, we may not have entirely good journalists. We may have some bad journalism amongst others. But I would appreciate if you segment properly.
Of course, we have good ones. Exactly. Yourself.
Thank you.
I mean, there are a lot of journalists now who are doing marvelous works. And when you read their works, you feel that these are things that we as a nation need to rally behind and ensure that the good works is being done. So I per se and my political party, we have the view that, look, we have to work with the journalists. Because, for instance, when we came out to report that we have been able to achieve about 78% of our manifesto promises, it was the same journalists who came out to scrutinize every promise that we made. To keep us on our toes, to say that, yes, you said this, but it's not done and done like that. So if you as a nation is not able to give the freedom to the journalists as they deserve, then who is going to be the mirror image for the politicians? Who is going to keep them on their toes, aside the opposition party? Because in the country we live, we believe that the opposition party is a party that actually is always going to see the negative side of government. But there is also supposed to be a forefront of
so
fighters.
That is what the NPP also does when they're in opposition. Always see the negative aspect of every initiative.
But when we were in opposition, of course,
you only saw the negative aspects.
No, we did. There were issues we came out clearly to say that we supported the NDC for what policies they did, and I can mention a number of them.
There's been some support from the NDC
exactly
this party as well.
So my points I want to iterate is that journalists should be able to be giving that freedom and liberty to do their work. And when we give them that freedom, they should also be reminded that their freedom also ends where somebody's freedom starts. So we should be able to work hand in hand and not to always try to bring the exposés that we always want to practice just to make media fame. And that is one aspect of journalism that today the bloggers are always doing. They try to bring news first without verification. And when you do these things, that means that you're also going to tarnish the image of certain people. And it becomes really problematic for all of us because it has to do with who to believe or who to trust when it comes to journalism. And I can tell you as a matter of fact that there isn't any single policy that has been rolled out, or even a political party that has been able to do anything successfully without journalism. Because they are the people that carry the messages across the length and breadth of the country. I can't move all over the entire country, but a journalist can be able to write an article and within seconds it's all over the country. So we should be able to encourage most of these things and also practice certain measures that would also help journalists in their freedom and what they also want to do. So that is why the RTI bill come into play. So when you know that there is a right to information somewhere and a journalist wants that information, of course we are at liberty to provide them with the accurate information so that they report accurately on the facts and then the figures that are provided to them.
All right, thank you, Malik. Mr. Adama, how is it that, you know, at the mention of press, journalism, there is that notion of fear? What comes into mind? I mean, why is this so?
Thank you. If you allow me to just read this thing in
Quickly.
some seconds.
Sure.
From City News, the City Newsroom.
It's your time.
Thank you. Though Ghana has recorded the largest increase in support for press freedom in Africa, 72% of Ghanaians feel the media is not very free or not at all free to report or comment on their views without government interference, according to an Afrometer survey. Good. I just want to base my discussion on what I just read. We're supposed to allow the media and then the journalists to work, as my name just said, which we all thought it could have been so. And as I said earlier, where we came from and where we've reached, we've gone far, we've come far. And we expect it to continue in the same manner. But somewhere 2 years, a year ago, we saw little downward trend. It has been worryful, very, very, very worryful. And that is some of the worry. If you speak against the president, then either you'll be attacked or they'll take you on. So panicking start to come.
When you say speak against the president, how do you
speak against the government or exposes the government?
Okay.
Then they either attack you or come for you, which I'll give you examples.
Give me an example.
Manasseh Azuri was a typical example.
What happened to him? Who attacked
Manasseh Azuri have to flee to South Africa for rescue, and you are aware. And later when he came, he was being escorted by a police for some time. I don't know for today. Our famous investigator, Anas Aremia Anas, he has been doing his thing since. Under Mos, he did a lot of work. Under Mama, he did a lot of work. He exposes a lot of institutions. And he did the same somewhere a year and a half about the GFA. Where is Anas today? Anas has been challenged. Later, we saw the same member of parliament who exposes Anas' colleagues. On Anas, even threatened a lot of, what's the name, mayhem on Anas, which we all saw and heard. So do you think this posture can maybe let the free press that we are all canvassing for move forward? You understand? So when it happens to her, then we are rather going backwards. So I think all these things must stop, especially when we have a president who is not just a president. He's a lawyer, and he's also a lawyer who is more or less of what? A human rights lawyer. So we expect much from him than even President Mama. But under him, rather, no, this is what is happening. And what is his stake? What is the stake of it? These are some of the challenges in media this time of the year. Somewhere last year, last 2 years, this is what has been happening to the media. So there is panic. There is panic. But I would tell the appropriate authorities that they should leave the media to work. It isn't always that they'll be friendly to you. Sometimes their comments and what they will put out may be friendly or may not be friendly. It's up to you to be given the opportunity to clarify yourself. But to take the person, the journalist on, I think we are not moving forward. So no wonder we have to drop in 3 years for 7 points backwards, which I think it shouldn't be so. We should have rather see upward trend, not backward trend. Right. So I think moving forward, our what's the name? People in charge should rather look at the moving forward, and they should be tolerant, just because you will not always hear what you want to hear. Even your children, one day they will talk shit to you, and one day they will talk in your face, "Dad, you are wrong here. What you did, it's not good," or "Dad, don't do." They will one day say it in front of you. It doesn't mean you should take them on. You should take it in good faith, and then do your correction.
Right.
About my name said something about my general secretary. It was true. There was a misreport. It was a daily guide. It was a daily guide. And verdict was given. Yes, verdict was given. I've forgotten that man. That is why he said that he will write that, and he will put up a structure and write that on it. But I think later, I don't know how it went, but something like that happened. So I believe when you have a grievance with a journalist, take him to court. And the court will do the right thing.
Well,
I believe that.
Very well. We spoke to the General Secretary for the Ghana Journalists Association, Mr. Yvonne, and he says that, yes, you could take a journalist on as far as you believe that a defamatory statement has been made upon you. But we see, before we go to that extent, let's take a look at subsection 5 of the Section 162 of the 1992 Constitution, which speaks on freedom and independence of the media. It says that all agencies of the mass media shall at all times be free to uphold I should take the subsection 6 rather. Any medium for the dissemination of information to the public which publishes a statement about or against any person shall be obliged to publish a rejoinder, if any, from the person in respect of whom the publication was made. And so, if you're a member of communication or whoever you are, and something has been said about you, first you think that it is not right, you should issue a rejoinder, which is more like a reply. And the person, the journalist that published that information, owes it a responsibility to publish that rejoinder in line with the rejoinder that was made. And so I don't think that, going to court is unless perhaps you've issued a rejoinder and the journalist has refused to, imply it to the story that was published, to defame or to which you think that you do not agree with, for which matter you may exercise a rejoinder.
See most issues that rejoinder.
And I believe that Sami Javi should have known better. No, I mean, he has worked with the media for a very long time.
Oh, yes, why not? What I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of cases that rejoinders work. Some of them, you even draw the attention of the person. He will refuse.
Okay.
We see a lot of them. Some will refuse, deliberately refuse. So if the person refuses, what will you do? You have to take it to the appropriate body. Perhaps. And the appropriate body, they know what to do. They know better than we do. Because they are put there to mitigate and solve such situations and issues.
All right. Now let's quickly go on to a story in the Daily Guide, which I'm very particular about. It says, Accra desilting begins. Accra desilting begins. And now I believe you know why we would want to desilt our gutters, especially in Accra. The raids have started, and let me do a quick reading to it. Page 6 of the Daily Guide. The Works and Housing Minister, Samuel Ataichia, has inspected this year's desilting of gutters exercise in flood-prone areas in Accra. The minister, during the visit, charged communities in such areas to be actively involved in the de-choking of gutters in their areas as the country awaits the onset of this year's rainy season, which has been forecast to be slightly above normal by the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Such an involvement in stress will be an effective precaution against flooding in the event of heavy downpours. Now, we've seen a lot of downpours already from the beginning of the year up until now. And Malik Abi, you would agree with me that doing the same thing over and over will not yield you any different results. Desilting and desilting and desilting, we've done it over and over. Still, with experienced floods, Malik, what should be the way forward when it comes to preparing ourselves for the rains?
Let me use this opportunity to say a very good morning again to the Mayor of Accra, Honorable Ajesowa. I say this because 2014, 15, 16 was one of the periods that we actually recorded flooding in Accra very much. And you can get that from the Odona and then that of, yes, the Odona area. I've forgotten the specific area. Where we had the bomb explosion, sorry, the gas explosion.
There's the Odor area.
I'm just looking for the name. It's not when they come and mention it. Now, 2017, however, when we took office, that was also one of the very challenging moments for us when it comes to flooding. And I quite remember also the mayor then, and immediately the rain started, and then he started, he had to actually get up from whatever he was doing just to monitor places where he believed there will be floods. And actually, 2017 was the most challenging year for us when it comes to Accra Metropolitan Assembly and then flooding. But after 2017, everybody, including the media and yourself, can attribute that there has been a successful periods in Accra or within Accra Metropolis, that there hasn't been any major flooding events across.
When you say there hasn't been any major flooding, I would want an explanation to it, because
and I'll give it to you.
Well, when we say flooding, to me, flooding is flooding. And I don't know what major makes it different from flooding as we know it. Because recently it rains in areas like Kaneshi. I mean, we saw yes, the Kaneshi got flooded and some areas.
When was the last time we saw Kaneshi flooding? That is the question.
Okay.
So in 2018, when we started the construction of the drainage under the Kaneshi, up to today, yesterday it rained. There hasn't been any single record of flooding at that area. When you come to the Odona side, and then you go to other parts as well, you recognize that there has been major rainfalls. But because of the good works that we can attribute to this current administration, especially the AMA, you would record that Accra has never been flooded. And that is on record. That is on the papers. I can give you references to that. We've had rainfall which had maximum speeds even in our streets, but yet we were able to curtail the flooding. That means that there were other places that, one, the drainage were very small, that we came to power and then we had to expand the drainage. And one of the major places was at Malam, the interchange, the overhead over there, and then the first light. To realize that that was one of our major problems that we had as a city. So we foresaw that it is not just about the draining, the desilting. Of course, the Kolo is one of the places that almost every debris come to when it rains. So of course, desilting the Kolo is one of the major things that we can do to curb or to make sure that flooding doesn't occur. Right. But aside that too, the interventions that the mayor and then the city of Accra had to put through was the expansion of the drainages that we've seen. So aside what you're saying, your question that...
Which drainages?
Well, of course, I mentioned that of the first light. We have that of the Abosukai as well. Yes. And then the Tetekwashi... No, sorry. The runabout at... Obechabi runabout as well. So these are major interventions that we as a party or as a government have been able to do that. Currently, we see no flooding in Accra. And I believe that this is time that most of you people, the journalists,
we see no flooding. When you say we see no flooding, I'd like to differ. You may want to correct that statement. No flooding.
No, currently we have no flooding in Accra. Unless of course
in my area is typical. If you want me, Block Factory. The Accra Malam Highway Block Factory before SCC at
that is not part of Accra.
It's not part of Accra.
No, please.
It's part of Accra.
It's not part of Accra Metropolitan Assembly.
Oh, you are limiting flooding to AMA now, not Accra.
You see, but when you are saying that, okay, that will be part of the greater Accra that we are talking about. But I'm limiting.
But whoever
everything.
is in charge of that area is under the current administration.
When
is
you're
that not so,
comparing the far east to where we are, the city of Accra, the central business district, then put it that way. Let me refine my English, to the Central Business District of Accra, that we had to face major flooding issues in the Central Business District. And that was...
Is the Central Business District all that matters? I mean, the people that work in the Central Business District also come from the Far East that you mentioned.
And that is why
so
I even extended the drainage to as far as Malam.
Right.
So you notice that there are things that is already on paper that I believe that in due courses, because most of the flooding events had to do with how it had to limit our production. Because most of the time when it rains, it's very difficult to move goods and services. It's very difficult to meet your timelines. So it was one of the major challenges that was breaking down GDP when it comes to contributions to the economy. And lo and behold, when you take Greater Accra, for instance, is contributing up to about 50% of the whole GDP of this country. So you should know that when the Central Business District is at a standstill, that means that there is a lot of repercussions when it comes to governance and revenue mobilization.
Very well. So it is fair and safe to say that we have experienced some flooding, but not as it was, than to say that we experienced no flooding at all.
Currently, there isn't a flood in Accra. That is let me put it, there isn't any flooding situation in the Accra metropolis.
If I open the phone lines right now, you'd be surprised the areas that flooded.
I want to challenge the
report. Anyways, Malik, we always think about desilting or desilting. You see, I have a problem. It's like we are always doing the desilting, all right? It means that there is a problem somewhere.
Yes,
there is something amiss somewhere. Now, one of the problems that we face is that when we desilt, we only desilt to re-desilt again, if I will put it that way. Because when we desilt, we put the debris at the mouth of the road, just at the edge of the gutter. It rains and it goes back. It's like a temporary measure we do, and we have to do it all the time.
Yes, I understand.
Why is it so? And what can we do?
There are two things I attribute to this thing. First and foremost, it has to do with humanitarian factors. That people are generally indisciplined when it comes to keeping the cities clean. And it's time for all of us to come together and punish culprits who, for one reason or the other, would try to put rubbish inside our drainages. And of course, AMA has done a good work by prosecuting more than 100 people when they came to, we assume, this office for just doing something of this sort. Last year, for instance, there's a video that went viral. It was raining, and a lady had to remove rubbish and come to dump it outside for the rain to carry it along. We're able to trace it and prosecute that lady. My second attribution has to do with Accra, for instance, is we do not have a lot of dumping sites around like we inherited. Of course, we had more than 12 when we inherited, 16 when we inherited. But currently, we have just only 2 operating, the one at Pong and then the one at Insomnia. So you realize that a round trip to those sides, Insomnia will take you about 96 kilometers, Pong will take you about 76 kilometers. So if you're trying to get rid of the rubbish over here, and then they also operate, let me put it on it, they also operate between a period of 8 to 5, just like any normal working hours. So looking at the interval that you have to travel and go back and then come, it means that you have a limited number of refuse to be able to transport and back. So that is why when we assumed office, we opened a transit station. So when you take the Mortuary Road, there was a transit station that before the establishment of the IRECOP over there. That has to do with the recycling of waste. Yes. So I believe that moving forward, government would make an intervention where we'd be able to recycle most of this waste, just like IRECOP is doing, which is also part of the 1D1F initiative.
That is not part of the 1D1F. It is not. Let us not go there, but it is not part of the 1D1F. So going on, you can make your submissions without referring to the IRECOP as a 1D1F. Unless you have proof to that claim.
Oh, of course. When you even look at the signpost, it's there. I don't need to tell you this.
Very well.
I don't need to tell you this.
Let's refrain from that.
It's a partnership of government and then Zoom Lion. So I don't know why you say
since when.
But
anyways, make your submission. You have a minute.
Most of these things, we should have recycling plants all over so that most of the time when we are able to collect these waste from the silting, we transport them immediately to these sites so that it can be, because most of the thing that we do actually, like you said, when we take it off, we put it on the street. So when it rains, it just gets back into it. So it really largely had to do with the dumping sites and then recycling stuff. Moving forward, I'm sure, because I've had a conversation with the mayor, and that was one of the long-term plans that he has for the assembly, to be able to recycle and even generate energy out of these refuges that we are.
I'll be happy. I'll be happy when we get there, because
so keep us in power for long, and these things are the things that we're going to.
All right.
Anyway, thank you. I think my colleague just limited it to AMA.
Yes.
But it should be the whole Ghana, even Accra as a whole, as you just said. You see, there were a lot of floods almost every year. You know, permit me to read this again, as I used to read.
Go ahead, my brother.
Part of Accra, capital of Ghana, were once again under water after a period of heavy rain caused urban flooding in city on 28 October 2019. A bridge collapsed in Abogba, in the north of the city. Flood waters closed part of the Accra-Tema motorway as ever. Locals complained about the poor state of the city's drainage infrastructure. Do you remember what happened?
Where did you read it from?
I read it for City News.
In fact, you don't need to give me source.
Okay, thank you. Go. You know this thing, we all saw it, what happened on motorway. And then the Abogba collapse of the bridge. Even the recent bridge, what's the name? The floating bridge that collapsed. Madame Essel's floating, that carried away, we also.
The bridge was carried away.
We all know what went behind it.
It was carried away.
No, we all know what went behind it.
It floated.
We know Choco Boys went to remove it.
They went to remove the bridge. The Choco Boys went to.
It's not true.
Anyways,
it's not true.
But it's sad. You see, it is sad. It is sad that the government would waste money. The government or state money to construct amenities for people. I don't know if it is because of the selfish interest of the people that they saw. Because in a video I saw that the people were jubilating instead of trying to do something. But obviously, no, Malik.
No, they cannot. How can they go there? They can't rescue.
Obviously, they can't jump into the flooding water. Malik, don't even raise your hand.
Let me tell you something.
Anyways, make your point. Make your point. I'm just saying that it is sad that state money will be used to provide amenities and we don't take care of it. Please make your point.
I don't think any other person can use within hours to go and collapse proper constructed bridge. It's impossible. Even not days. It is impossible, I repeat. It is not proper constructed. But you see, we are trying to talk about how we can mitigate floods. And my concern is about our drainage, as he said. You see, when you look at the drainage, we have two issues concerning the drainage. One is water not flowing. Why is water not flowing? Because of the rubbish that we put in the drainage. Always. So always choked. That is one. And day in, day out, our population increase. So the volume of water that initially was constructed for a drain, because our volume increased now, the volume of water also increased, which enter into the bridge. So sometimes it fails.
Okay, so the volume that the gutter is supposed to contain.
We are more now.
Right.
Day in, day out, we increase. Right. So unless a new design, you get it. And beside all these things, people even fill the gutters with rubbish. So it becomes tricky. So if you ask my opinion, I always say we should bring back this summer. When we bring back this summer, everybody is afraid of the summer. When summer comes to your house,
tankers.
Yes.
Tankers, men.
When summer comes to your house and your house surrounding is full of felt, they will summer you and take you to court. You'll be crying, pleading. You get it? So when we introduce summer, I think we will bring some sanity, some percentage of sanity, and at least some percentage of mitigation to this problem. Right. And also, you know, under the NDC, before we leave, we introduce this first Saturday of every month. I think either first Saturday of every month or last Saturday of every month.
The first Saturday of
every month. The whole Accra is shut down. Then we will do this cleaning for up to 10 o'clock or 11. I think up to 12 before. All
up to
what
10,
happened
up
to
to
it?
10 a.m.
Yeah, up to 10 a.m. What happened to it? It has been put to hold. I think those ones will add some percentage of mitigation, whether we like, even if it's 5% cry, it is still a percentage that it has been added.
Mm.
I think we should introduce that back too. It is very important we bring. And what the minister...
If you say that it's been discarded, I wouldn't so much agree. I would only say that the implementation of that measure, because yes, as it stands now, every first Saturday of a month, you go to the markets and you realize that all shops are closed before 10 a.m. It's unfortunate that
the activity don't happen.
It doesn't happen.
So
it's the implementation.
Yes. The activity is the reason for closing the shops.
Right.
Not closing the shops, rather, is what we wanted. So the activity is no more going on. And that is what we are talking of. What the mayor is doing now, forgive my damn, is cosmetics. Just because when the season is over, they will stop. And how long can they be doing it? So if they tax the people, especially those who contribute to that refuge in the gutters, they are the market sellers, the shop sellers, to be doing that once in a month, and it becomes part of us as routine, then it will be with us, and we will be addicted to and conversant with. So every month, Saturday, everybody will be doing. Then as time goes on, you extend it to an area, such as where I come from, Okankwe North, you extend it to Okankwe North. Then once Saturday, first Saturday of every month, cleaning whether you like or not. First Saturday, it will be extended. It will be extended. Before you write, it will become a nationwide. Then every Saturday, whether we like or not, it will mitigate the rate at which flood will occur, whether we like or not. Right. And secondly, we should be, I think we should be engaging our experts, engineers, when it comes to design.
And so you think that the architecture of the
yes, we should be engaging our engineers more. Even we should be engaging them prior to any project that we do, such as the project at Obechebi, the overhead that will be coming. We should engage them so that they survey the distance from the overhead to Malam Junction. That is one. And then look at, which is not going to be a day work. And then look at it, survey it well, in a manner that when even that overhead is constructed, there wouldn't be flood there.
Are you disappointed at the level of engagement that might have been done with the constructors at the
not necessarily
Kwame Nkrumah interchange?
Kwame Nkrumah interchange.
Yes, this was supposed to salvage the situation, but rather we see flooding in the area.
Kwame Nkrumah interchange is better than before.
In terms of flooding or in terms of road transport?
Flooding, it is better than before. Far. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The last time it flooded there was about 3 years or 2 years. And it was within a shorter time. And that flood wasn't the floods that used to occur. And within a shorter time, the water dispersed there. Within the shortest time, I noticed it. And, you know, when you look at that place very carefully, just study the area, you realize that where the overhead is in the valley. And when you look at where the busy internet is up. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Yes.
Which engineering should have considered.
And it considered. Yes. That is how come it was minimized. So from, I think, 2 years back when it flooded, but within a shorter time, it vanished.
Okay.
I've not seen any flood, which I used to monitor.
Right.
Unlike what happened in, was it 2015, which killed a lot of people? Was it 2015 or 2014? 2015. Yes. Yeah, June 10th or so, yes. Unlike that, it never occurred. So that's what I'm trying to say. We should just engage our engineer expertise. And another place where you spoke, Kaswa Road, just after the traffic light, STC, right? Is after barrier STC?
After the barrier traffic light, onwards towards SCC. After barrier, the next traffic light is SCC.
SCC. After SCC, even after the shopping mall, when you go forward a bit, that place is a valley. And whenever it rains, it's a hell.
Yes.
I've parked my car there, walked home, and went for it the following day.
Yes.
And people were just walking. It's a hell. I think they should revisit that place. And then there is this building material shop on, when you're going the left. Atala, who has blocked the place. And the flood even, you know, that flood even sometimes is at the peak of the Trotro and Co. I don't know whether you've once saw it that way.
I've witnessed over.
So the floods there are excessive. So I think we should revisit the whole Accra and even some part of Kumasi. You know, some people were...
But should that be the situation? Should we revisit the engineering? Because in these areas that you just mentioned...
The question is even that when they constructed the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, the question is, did they do due diligence? Did they construct the drainage well? Because as...
You know that drainage...
As early as 20...
You see, when gentlemen, Malik, you see, when it comes to...
Because the drainages at Nima were not constructed. And before you construct such a project, of course, you're supposed to have realize that the drainages from that leads to that area.
It is in the same. Gentlemen, it is in the same. When we talk about, when we want to talk about the, architecture and all that, in each time, we would have these kind of matter because the Accra Malam Highway, for instance, was constructed in the time of President. Yes, it was constructed. No, it was in the 2000s.
Yes, 2000.
In President Kufuor's
Japanese loan also.
Exactly. Yeah. You see. For a very long time, we weren't experiencing these problems, but you gave a very good contributing factor that as population increases, and yes, these areas from Waja to Kaswa, population has really intensified in these areas, and so we are experiencing the floods. The proper submission that I agree so much, we have to revisit.
No, we have to revisit.
We have to revisit the engineering. You see, perhaps the gutters should be expanded, as was done recently in some areas. And I believe that these situations, but for desilting, I think
it should be continued.
It should be continued.
It should be routine.
We will do them over and over.
Yeah, it should be routine once a month. It should be routine.
Our structures.
And there should be an introduction of what's the name? Sama, right? There should be an introduction of Sama.
Thank you very much.
And
in a minute, if you give us your final words, then I take Mr. Abi's...
Oh, you're not talking of the...
Don't worry.
Oh, do you want us to go? Let's talk about the chief compound.
We have 30 minutes to talk about that.
Yes, about 2 minutes to talk about
the chief compound, right?
I don't know if my producer would allow. My producer is already signaling me. Okay. Mr. Producer, would they allow 5 minutes each? Okay.
5 minutes is too much. A minute each.
A minute. Chief compound.
Good.
Well, it should be your last submission. I won't come back to you.
Yes, I think chief compound, NDC has done a lot. Most of the chief compounds you see in the countries were constructed by NDC, most of the time. We even constructed...
No, go straight to the point. Yes. How many did you construct?
Okay, let me... I can speak of... I'm coming, let me finish. I can speak of constant 12 that were constructed by some monies that were deducted from the appointees of the government. And they were in Volta, Eastern region, and I think Central region. These were 12 chief compounds, which were constructed from 10% cut off from the payments of all appointees of the government. And besides, we did a lot, which I don't know is Patacraft, even bring the list of all the chief compounds that we constructed. And a lot of them have been left rotten as I'm speaking now. Those that were not completed were at the various stage of completion have been left. And we expect government should have complete them as we did in 2011. 2009. We expect them to have complete them. And look at the various hospitals that we put up and the ones that are left. Assuming we complete them, we couldn't have been speaking of 94 hospitals to be built. No, we could have enough that even if we will build that, it wouldn't be talking of these 94. But they were left. Salaga was left, I think, lintel levels and window levels. Look at your place, Kaswa. There's a hospital that has been completed. And a policeman was shot by armed robbers somewhere, Kaswa. When he was rushed to Ridge Hospital, before they got there, he was pronounced dead. If this hospital was in existence, I think who knows, this police officer could have survived. And so, but it's left. It's completed, but they've left it.
And so the chief on how many did the former President Mahama complete, not those under completion? The NPP has come out to tell us various stages of completion of promises they made.
Yes.
Can you tell us on account? How many
I can speak, as I told you, I can speak of the completed 12 from the 10% of
so you can only affirm...
I can affirm that one.
Right, thank you.
But with what we built across the region, with the taxpayers' money, I know we put up a lot, which I have, but I don't want to misinform the public. So I don't have the figure as it. But the 12, I can speak.
You can confirm, and so you are not too sure. Okay, Sami Jemfi says 3,000 were built.
Yes,
please.
Sami Jemfi today has become the repository of lies, and it's quite unfortunate that. Okay, that's the way of the NDC. Actually, they started with being propaganda secretary, so we understand. He said it's 3,000, but let me give you the facts. They have constructed 808. And take 808 from 3,000, you see that the margin is very big, just like Sami Jemfi's lies. Now, you can get these figures from the various budget statement reports. So in 2014, for instance, the budget statement, it was stated that 19 chip compounds were built. And 24 new would be constructed. That was in 2014. In 2015, too, they came out to tell us in paragraph 630 that 724 chip compounds were built. In 2016 budget statement, in paragraph 723, they said 250 chip compounds will be constructed. And when we came to power in 2017, our budget statement, we realized that only 60 were constructed. So you total everything and you'll be able to have 808 per the budget statements that we all presented to Parliament. And then Sami Jemfi is telling us that 3,000.
You did it in 2013.
About the 10% pay cut that they had to do. That was in November 2013. Now, sadly, that pay cut was ended the following year when the chief of staff had to write that they had to.
Did it say to the purpose of construction of?
No, you told us you were going to construct chip compounds with a 10% pay cut.
Yes.
And then the following year, you had to take them, and that was about 896,000.
They took them.
No, that is not true. I told you where we constructed them.
And then put it on record. Then put this on record. Very important.
Malik, do you have any proof to that? We have proof to you know.
I've shown you where we contributed
10%.
Yes.
Do you have proof
of course. They took that money, but they used it for certain chip compounds. We are aware. But what I'm trying to say is the number of chip compounds we were supposed to have built. They never built.
And I told you we completed 12 chip compounds.
3,000, and then we only about 808. What are you doing? Let me just put this across. I beg you. When we came to power, we've been able to complete about 339 completed health facilities that were in place. You understand?
And then we complete
339.
Where?
That's where in place.
By
the former government.
By the former government.
We've
been able to 326, which is currently ongoing. We are about 17 hospitals that we inherited from your government that you didn't finish. We've been able to complete them. And 11 of those things are still under construction.
This information in the fridge, all right? As you go home, find your facts, Malik. Malik, also find your facts. When we come back next week, Monday, this issue, I will bring it from the fridge. We will digest it.
Bring it.
And so
that is what
I'll be grateful if you all come with your facts and figures as well. There's been an interesting discussion by far, Mr. Ruling Party, and see you next week, Monday. We'll go for a break. We'll be right back with some more discussion. Stay.
Join me, Samuel Kusi Apia, every Monday at 8 p.m. on Adoatv as I bring you good things from the world of sports.
Olive oil.
I maintain a healthy life with Borges.
Manufacturing supplies, Africans and sweetie and style.
John, Ufini, wow, Eddie, Wabwejuma. I check Rufina, or you fell one casa from Asatec. Oh, Nansem, roofing is a baby bray, nice keke. Why the catcher? Asatec roofing sheet, dear, and your nice keke with the board and swat installation. You was a crowd from pa. Oh, yes, quality and new with the feminine. Asatec, 5 days pay, now Saka order. Now a year after sales service proper being so. She Asatec, Watema Community 2, Meridian Road, a Bangkok board warehouse, Western Region, so Asatec, Water. The energy yene Princeland Hotel ene di hwene mu ena Volta region yawo Akachi South District Assembly kwan so ha
Ago, good people. Fever,
070.
High quality fashion accessories.
Wow. And then Asatec Watema Community 2, Meridian Road, and Bangkok.
Viruses include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing. Should you experience any of these, or for more inquiries, please contact 0558 439 868. That's 0558 439 868, or call 0509.
Mean the effects they have on people, how the names came about, and how it's even able to affect you as an individual when you wear them. In the studio this morning, I have Eldad. Eldad is understand any other
suit
thing.
Or any coat or like
it's a name, like a brand they give to a particular collection that comes out of. It is the brand.
The olden day, the one they used to wear in the 80s and the 70s.
They don't look a good thing that ex-president John Ajekum. We have the first gentleman of the land in another fabric in Pankasa. The president wore one of the days. In the bid to promote, we see them come here and then go after our African made.
No, if the prince were there, let's say
brown and cream. What's the name?
That's Obo that dear fan like
Obo
or I'm supposed to say Obo
stone.
Yeah, stone.
Fan.
It depends.
That dear fan.
That dear fan on day and night.
Day and night. What does this even mean?
The day and night.
Oh, so it's just about day and night.
If you look at that fabric, it's like asasa, it's like different designs.
Yeah, that have been put together.
And I think he's talking about the economy and health. We can't just put our trust in all what is going in the health sector and leave the economy to collapse. Or that's why he lifted the business.
You massage this a bit. You are hard on this one too a bit. Then
that's the meaning.
Wow. Interesting. If you're watching us on Adoatv, this is AM Ghana Show. You can send your messages through our WhatsApp number 050-925-7753, and also on Facebook Adoatv Ghana. I will be looking forward to the messages and I'll be reading them out to you. But the conversation is about African prints, what you need to wear to what occasion, what you need to know about the prints. Also, you're going to get on the market as well. If you have any questions concerning it, you can send it to us, or you can send us even pictures on our WhatsApp number if you want to know the meaning of that fabric as well. And so we'll do well to open the phone line to call, tell us which fabric you really like, why you love them, and then also what you think about it, or what you think the name of the fabric is. If it's wrong, our dad is here to correct us, of course. And if also you pass, tell us why you love that particular fabric. And still speaking about using African prints, now we've seen that even our friends from the other side, our foreign friends from the other side, actually have loved how we are portraying
prints, fabrics.
Our African prints. We are using them for a whole lot of things. People are using them for glass cases, spectacles. Do you think we can promote it for us to get to that point? How well can we do that?
It depends on the company who is manufactured, like GTP and ATL. Their promotion method and what's the name? And the president or the key people in the country, the leaders, they must wear it to special occasions.
A South African print, but like you rightly said, it could be from one of the African.
It's not one of ours.
Yes, one of the African. So
but it's really beautiful. It's nice.
Okay, please go on.
I think it's nice. It's beautiful.
Yes, it's very beautiful. Yeah. It's very beautiful. Okay, so if you're watching us, whoever sends the picture, if you're watching, I hope you understand. And this is not one of locally made fabrics here in Ghana. It possibly a foreign fabric, but like he rightly said, it's just talking about women and the roles of a woman, or how they even go about their duties to make sure